Hello, this is our presentation on Spanglish created by Diana Belk, Alyssa Mulder, and Joyce Shepard. Spanglish is a characteristic of Chicano English. It is considered code switching, with both English and Spanish words being used in the same sentence. This form of communication is a product of Hispanic culture, constantly adapting. Culture can be dynamic and change through time. Spanglish can also be viewed as a bridge to help with the transition of learning a new language. According to the Pew Hispanic Research Center, second-generation Hispanics are more likely to use Spanglish. They are born in the United States with at least one first-generation parent foreign-born. It is more likely to be used with those between the ages of 16 and 25. 70% of Hispanics that are in these age ranges have admitted to using Spanglish, according to the 2009 survey conducted by Pew Hispanic Research Center. The Pew Hispanic Center 2013 National Survey of Latinos shows that over 50% of Hispanics speak English or are bilingual. Being able to speak both English and Spanish is a trait valued by the Hispanic population. Culture is pervasive, shared, and learned. It becomes part of who a person is by not only what is passed down through the generations, but by influences, observations, and socializing with family and community. There are many influences on the language Spanglish. When a first-generation immigrant made the journey over to the United States, he or she might have begun speaking Spanglish in a way to communicate or transition into understanding and speaking English. Then the next generation could have picked it up and continued to speak Spanglish. Through the transition of learning a new language, they could be trying to hold on to their traditions. If a family moves into a neighborhood where Spanglish is used as part of the environment, they can pick it up as they join the culture. Spanglish also gives people another way to express themselves through merging the two languages.
It's interesting to see the stereotypes of Spanglish from both sides. First-generation immigrants in America can see this shift in culture as a younger generation's rejection of their heritage and their culture from the countries that they've come from. In pop culture or media, there are representations that at times can be very negative. The stereotype that they are illegal immigrants, even though they were born in America. There are other stereotypes that television and film has portrayed people of this culture as having gang affiliations, or for women that they are sex pot Latinas, all of which can be very damaging to a community. The cultures associated with Spanglish is that of a mixture between American and Hispanic cultures. The culture is built on values and traditions of their native countries, with influences of American culture mixed into it. Let's also look at the individual versus collective societies. The United States, for example, is a very individualistic society. The focus here tends to be on oneself and one's needs and success. Whereas in Hispanic cultures, it's very much collective. The focus tends to be on family and community.
Next, I want to talk about how Spanglish has changed over time. So, the mixing of Spanish and English started in the mid-1800s when the U.S. acquired quite a bit of land from Mexico in the Mexican-American War. Since then, the language has continued to change as our lives change. For example, during the technological revolution, languages, including Spanish, English, and Spanglish, had to adapt. For example, you may hear someone that might call surfing the internet surfear el internet. So next, it's important to understand how Spanglish both affects and is affected by other languages. Spanish, English, and Spanglish are all interconnected. All three of these dialects change over time and influence each other. For example, there are plenty of English words that transfer over into Spanish. So in English, we call a cell phone text message a text. This word has transferred over into Spanish and therefore Spanglish and can be called el texto. So it's important for teachers to understand that being able to interchange fluently between two languages is a skill. It's an unfortunate myth that Spanish speakers do not speak Spanish or English. Rather, they are often fluent in both languages and use both languages in a way that is grammatically correct for the respective language. Teachers need to remember that this bilingual speech and the ability to follow language rules is a skill and not a deficit. As always, these teachers should design lessons and create classrooms and environments that are multicultural and accepting of all cultures. The teacher must learn and value the various cultures of his or her students. However, it is also important to allow these Spanglish or bilingual speakers to share these skills on their own time. While some Spanglish or bilingual speakers want this skill to be known, there are some students that when speaking English in the classroom may not wish to be noticed for this ability. Rather, it's important to treat all students equally and allow students to share this ability to mix Spanish and English when they choose.